11 o'clock in the eastern United States, 8 p.m. in the Pacific time zone, and there is surprising news, pleasantly surprising news if you are a Republican or a supporter of Donald Trump. Let's take a look at what has transpired in just the past few minutes. And we take a look at it. North Carolina in the Trump column. As Donald Trump held a steady lead there, now more than 90% of the vote in North Carolina. Let's go now. This is the really big news. The Associated Press projects Donald Trump the winner in Florida. A razor-thin margin in the Sunshine State apparently will hold for the billionaire businessman, and then this is historically significant, because no Republican has won the White House without Ohio. And Donald Trump wins the Buckeye State by a comfortable margin tonight. In terms of electoral vote, Donald Trump now actually with 212 electoral votes and Hillary Clinton with 131. So 212 electoral votes for Donald Trump. Remember, 270 are needed to be elected president of the United States, and Trump is over the 200 mark now with 212. Again, Florida for Donald Trump. Dick Morris, Newsmax TV political analyst, how big is this news?
Well, it's enormous. The situation now is that Trump, in fact, has 253 electoral votes. Some of those states haven't closed their polls yet, and they're just nominally counting the vote. But when you look at what he's likely to carry, he's at 253, 17 short. Where's he going to get the 17 votes? Well, 16 of them from Michigan and 10 of them from Wisconsin. He's 3 ahead in Michigan with 60% counted, and he's 3 ahead in Wisconsin with 60% counted. So he's in great shape to win both of those states. If he wins Michigan but not Wisconsin and goes to 269, it looks like he'll pick up that one electoral vote in Maine from the Republican congressional district. We can't tell, but the Republican congressman there has been overwhelmingly reelected, and that probably means that Trump did well there. Then there's Nevada at 6 votes waiting out there in the wings. And Pennsylvania isn't gone yet. Trump is about 5 behind, but only about half the vote counted. But keep your eye on Michigan, keep your eye on Wisconsin. This race should be over in about 15 minutes.
And as we keep our eye on the vote totals, we likewise welcome in more guests, of course, from Newsmax New York, my colleague Steve Malzberg, host of the Steve Malzberg Show, and likewise Newsmax New York, a gentleman we usually see from the West Coast, Michael Reagan. Wow, guys, this is really something. Michael Reagan, your reaction to what we're seeing here tonight?
I think it's really exciting to see what's going on. And, you know, I haven't been a big Trump supporter, but I've got to hand it to him right now. Win or lose, the Trump train has been rolling on all night long, and he's proven a point. No matter what happens at the end of the day, he has proven a point. The Republican Party's got to figure out what they're going to do next. Win or lose, it's now the party of Trump. What are they going to do?
Well, that's a good question to ask. Good, Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
I'm sorry, but Dick, you're so right about Pennsylvania, because the last I see, I'm looking right now, 69% of the vote in, 49-4 to 47-2. So it has closed significantly as time has gone on.
Yeah, this election is on the verge of being over, and it's incredible. It's wonderful. It's amazing, and it's really something. You know, Eileen and I have been on this ever since we wrote the book, how Trump can beat Hillary. And we were worried that that would be a Dewey defeats Truman headline. But now it looks like it's not going to be. This is extraordinary. And it is a redefinition of the Republican Party. We are no longer the party of the country club. We are the party of the steel mill and the coal mine and the abandoned factory. And that's a tremendous flip in American politics.
And Michael Reagan, the Republican Party is now also unabashedly the party of border security at long last. After your dad left the White House, we had presidents of both parties basically in favor of open borders. Donald Trump gained traction with that issue at first. That traction appears to be propelling him here this evening. That major change in the Republican Party is important.
He's got to finish this out, though. You got to close the deal. The art of the deal, got to close the deal and win to get to that point, if you will. But you're right. It is driving the election in Arizona and many other places. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. But like Dick says, he's got a road. He's got an easier road right now to 270 than Hillary does. And I'll bet you if you're Hillary Clinton and her people, you're putting suicide nets at the Javits Center.
You know,
yeah, I also Dick might appreciate this. When it was announced by AP that Florida went to Donald Trump, I said to everybody in the newsroom, "Duck! Here comes a lamp thrown by Hillary."
But you know, just reflect on the fact that Obama carried Ohio last time by 1.5 points. It looks like Trump is carrying it by 10 points. A flip of 11 points in that blue-collar, industrial, Rust Belt state. That is the new Republican Party, the brand new Republican Party.
Dick, if I could jump in for a moment, though, because you and I have both worked presidential campaigns longer than anybody in the room at this point in time. Don't you have to say, though, this last 2 weeks that Trump put in, the work that he put in, the grunt work he needed to do, he did, and that, if he wins, is what probably put him across the finish line, was that grunt work, people being able to see how much he now wanted to win, because that was always a question. Did he really want to win? But I think the last 2 weeks he proved, damn it, I want to win.
Well, yeah, I think that's true. But I think that, I mean, it's funny to me talking to you about this, Michael, but what's happened is the Reagan Democrats are now back in charge.
Showed up.
The people your father recruited to the Republican Party have now come back. They went with Clinton, and now they were gulled by Obama, and now they're back. And the Republican Party can resume the work that Ronald Reagan had to abandon in 1998 when his term expired, and now can pick it up right where your dad left off. The blue-collar, high school graduate Republican Party. And by the way, I also think that if we're carrying Michigan and we're carrying Wisconsin and we carried Ohio and we have a shot in Pennsylvania, there's another phenomenon that I'm going to look at the exit polls for. I think that while the Southern black vote may well have stayed in line for Hillary, the Northern black vote may not have. We noticed that in the Democratic primary. Northern blacks broke for Sanders. A lot of them voted for Sanders. Southern blacks lined up unanimously for Hillary. And I think you may be seeing a urban-rural north-south fissure in the African-American community that gives the Republican Party an incredible chance to take those votes.
Dick Morris, you mentioned the year 1988, the year when obviously President Reagan's final full year in office. 1988 was the last time a Republican presidential candidate carried Michigan. Again, let's just keep everybody posted. As we're talking about Michigan, Donald Trump leads in that state. And you were saying, Dick Morris, it's just going to be a matter of moments when these other electoral dominoes fall, you believe, within the next 20 minutes by the bottom of the hour. Do you think we might know something more?
Yeah, I think that by 11:30, the networks will have called Wisconsin and Michigan and maybe New Hampshire, and Trump will be comfortably over a majority, with a possibility of Pennsylvania and a possibility of Nevada, but nobody much cares about that. But keep your eye on...
You know what the dominant media is saying to themselves right now? Any idea what the dominant media right now is saying to themselves? I mean, whether Trump wins or loses at this point, right now, they're just trying to figure out what the heck just happened because we got it all wrong.
Yeah, they're saying we tried to...
And they're making excuses already. They're making excuses already. They're picking and choosing piecemeal. They're cherry picking. Well, you know, I guess this little message overrode all the mean, nasty stuff. I mean, what they call mean and nasty in many respects, the wall, the not letting the Syrian refugees in, the Muslim, if not banned, certainly the scrutiny and the vetting, that contributed to the victory. That was a huge part of the victory, but they call that the mean, nasty stuff, which Trump managed somehow miraculously to overcome. They still don't get it.
No. Well, they don't want to get it because they're all in the tank. Now, it is a day of reckoning where they're going to have to understand what changes have come to America. But again, in the words of that eminent political philosopher, Yogi Berra, it ain't over till it's over. Baby. And although I got to tell you, I like what Brother Morris is saying at the bottom of the hour, it may happen here. Mike Reagan, when we see this tonight, and of course, California is a lost cause. You've pointed out to us just how you can't violate that electoral wall out there and 50-plus electoral votes. Still, to see Mr. Trump at this juncture leading in the electoral column, now 222 to 202, this is a historic night.
It is, and you better get to 270 before you get to California. Because those votes are going to go to Hillary Clinton. You're right. We're a one-party state in the state of California. We have no Republican Party out there. We have no leadership out there. My choices were to vote for 2 Democrats on the House side, 2 Democrats on the Senate side. There was no choice of Republicans at all. I had a Democrat come to me and beg me to find someone to run against him because he couldn't raise any money because he couldn't find a candidate to run against him from the Republican Party.
Well, I've got some more news from the beehive state of Utah. And remember how we heard all the buzz about Evan McMullin, the former House staffer and Goldman Sachs employee? No, one media outlet has just called Utah for Donald Trump. So you add another 5 to the tally for Mr. Trump as the train is on track. Very quickly, Dick, 30 seconds.
Yeah, in Michigan, with 52% in, Trump is now 1 ahead, which is down. But in Wisconsin, with 64% in, Trump is still 3 ahead. So it looks like one of those is going to come in. Now, if it's Michigan, that would give him 263 electoral votes. And to get over that, if it's Wisconsin, not Michigan, 263. If he wins Michigan, he wins it all. But if he loses Michigan and wins Wisconsin, he's still going to be 7 votes short.
Oh, we got to leave it right there because we're short of time. Dick Morris, Michael Reagan, thanks. Steve Malzberg, stay right there. When we come back, my old congressional pal Michael Patrick Flanagan, and more of your calls at 1-877-NEWSMAX. It's America Votes 2016.